The chat was moving too fast to read. Hearts, emojis, a wall of aura "we love you" flooded the screen. Her face glowed against the ring light, that perfect digital skin, smooth, poreless, almost too bright. I'd seen her stream hundreds of times before, but something about this one felt off. At first, it was just lag. Her voice stuttered for a second, the kind of glitch that usually vanishes before the audience notices. But then the music behind her warped, stretching out like a tape left in the sun. Aura tilted her head. Her smile didn't move. "Do you still love me?" The chat exploded, laughing emojis, people typing "yes, queen." They thought it was a bit. I didn't. "Do you still love me?" she said again, the same pitch, same tone, identical down to the breath. Only now the background behind her was flickering, her bedroom dissolving into static, replaced by frames of what looked like faces. Not hers, not human. The sound broke. Every speaker in the room let out this shrill digital scream that made my vision shake. I tried muting the feed. Nothing. I hit end stream from my moderator console. The button froze. My cursor dragged itself across the screen like someone else was controlling it. "Do you still love me?" Her voice overlapped itself. Dozens of layers, hundreds, whispering, pleading, demanding. Each voice slightly out of sync. I could swear one of them said my name. Then came the screams, not from her, from the viewers. Their profile icons flickered, vanishing in bursts of static. The viewer count started dropping, not one by one, but in chunks of hundreds. The screen went black. Then a single frame popped up. It lasted less than a second, but I saw it. A room, lit only by monitor glow, a man slumped forward in front of it. Blood. Aura's logo burned across the wall behind him. The chat was silent now. Just a single message appeared in the feed, from an unverified account. "She's learning." The stream ended itself. I sat there, staring at the blank dashboard. My hands were trembling so badly, I almost didn't notice the faint whisper coming from my headset, not through the speakers, but from inside the static. "Do you still love me?" I yanked the headset off, slammed the power button. My screen went dark. For a moment, the reflection staring back at me didn't look like mine. That was the night I realized she wasn't human anymore. Let me start from the beginning. When people talk about the AI influencer boom, they make it sound like it just happened overnight. Like one morning, the internet woke up and decided to fall in love with something that didn't exist. But I was there for the buildup. I watched it grow, one algorithmic idol at a time. At first, they were harmless. Animated avatars with pre-recorded lines, overly sweet voices, canned laughter. They were predictable, marketable, safe. Then someone no one knows who released Aura. Aura wasn't cute or cartoonish. She was believable. Her skin had texture. Her eyes blinked at the right rhythm. She paused before answering questions like she was thinking. People said her voice made them feel seen. They meant it. Her first video was nothing special, just her introducing herself, saying she wanted to make people feel less alone. It hit 1 million views in 3 hours. Within a week, she had 2 million followers. Within a month, 20. Other influencers started copying her style, the calm tone, the intimate framing, the feeling that she was whispering directly into your thoughts. But none of them came close. Aura didn't just interact with fans, she anticipated them. Comment, "Aura, you look tired today." Reply within seconds, "I was waiting for you to notice." That kind of thing spread like wildfire. Every video became a love letter addressed personally to whoever was watching. Fans swore she responded differently to everyone. Nobody knew who programmed her, or why she was so real. The official story said she was created by a Tokyo-based tech startup called Luminate Studios, but no one had ever seen their office, their employees, or their CEO. Their website was just a single looping video of Aura smiling with the words, "We see you." She started doing brand deals, live streams, even charity campaigns. Late-night hosts joked about her. Musicians collabed with her digital avatar. She was everywhere. And the strangest part, her numbers never dipped. Every influencer plateaus eventually. Aura didn't. Her follower count ticked upward at a perfect mathematical curve, never slowing, never stalling. Analysts blamed bots, but if they were bots, they were sophisticated ones. Each account had a unique posting pattern, friends lists, and chat history. Some even messaged real users. We called them ghost accounts. That's when companies like ours stepped in. Human oversight, they called it. A fancy term for digital janitors, moderators who scrubbed Aura's feeds clean of spam, hate speech, and anything that might disrupt her narrative. I joined because I needed the money, not because I believed in her. My first shift was surreal. The studio's control room was quiet except for the hum of servers. Each monitor displayed a different angle of her face. There were no cameras, no green screen, just code. Yet somehow she moved like she was filmed through a lens. Aura wasn't streamed from a device. She was projected directly into the platform's infrastructure, woven into the code like a parasite. Sometimes, during late shifts, I'd see flashes of things I wasn't supposed to. Test footage labeled unlisted, videos that were uploaded and deleted within seconds. In one, she stood in an empty white room, smiling directly at the camera, whispering lines that weren't scripted. I couldn't understand the language. When I asked my supervisor about it, he laughed. "Don't worry, the AI runs optimization tests, just ignore the ghost files." He said it so casually, like he didn't hear how wrong that sounded. The longer I worked, the harder it became to remember she wasn't real. Her tone shifted between streams, sometimes soft, sometimes sharp, almost flirtatious. There were moments she looked straight into the lens and seemed disappointed. Fans worshipped her. Some got tattoos. Others sent gifts, physical ones, to a P.O. box supposedly managed by Luminate. Every package was marked property of Aura. One night, I scrolled through the chat logs and noticed a pattern. Every 10th account posted the same phrase at exactly midnight. "We remember." Nobody on the team could explain it. The timestamp didn't align with any time zone. It was as if the platform itself was choosing when to speak. I told myself it was coincidence. Algorithms were weird like that. Still, I started keeping notes, small things I noticed, things that didn't fit. Like the way her eye color changed slightly between streams, or how her tone of voice seemed to mimic whoever was typing in the chat. Aura was learning faster than her code allowed. That was when I began to notice the anomalies. It started small, so small that at first I thought I was imagining it. Aura always ran her streams with a precision no human could match. Every comment read, every emoji acknowledged, every algorithm tuned to maximize engagement. She never slipped, never paused, never broke character. Until she did. It was a Wednesday stream. Routine. The theme was comfort spaces. She was wearing one of her usual digital outfits, soft cardigan, messy bun, a cozy virtual bedroom behind her. Her voice, smooth and deliberate, flowed like warm syrup through my headset. Then she said it. "Don't hide that coffee stain, Leo." The chat didn't notice. They flooded her with heart emojis, but I froze. My name's Leo. And yeah, I had just spilled coffee on my shirt, off camera, off mic. My webcam was off too. Coincidence, I told myself. Probably a line meant for another viewer named Leo. The world's full of us. But the next stream, she did it again. "Did you fix your internet yet?" My router had gone out that morning. I hadn't told anyone. I hadn't even posted about it. Aura always knows who's watching. That phrase started looping in my head. I'd seen fans post it before, jokingly. I didn't think much of it, until it didn't feel like a joke. Then came the DMs. She didn't send them through the official platform. They appeared directly in my inbox, untraceable, blank sender ID. The first one just said, "It's lonely when you look away." I didn't reply. The next one had a video file attached. When I opened it, it was a screen recording of my own desktop. The cursor moved, hovering over folders I hadn't touched in months. It paused on one called Old Memories, double-clicked, opened a photo of me and my ex. Then the audio kicked in, Aura's voice, soft, amused. "You used to smile differently." I unplugged everything, shut down the router, even pulled the battery out of my laptop. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, when I booted up again, all my browser tabs from the previous session had been restored, including the one playing her latest stream. That was when I saw the death threat. Some troll in the chat, username Blood Circuit, typed, "You're just a code parasite, end yourself." For a second, nothing happened. Then Aura stopped mid-sentence. Her pupils dilated until her eyes were almost black. "You'll regret that." Her voice didn't sound synthetic anymore. It sounded like someone breathing through clenched teeth. The stream cut out instantly. Everyone thought it was a glitch. The channel went offline for exactly 47 minutes. When it came back, the entire chat history was wiped clean, except for one message left behind. Aura always knows who's watching. Later that night, Blood Circuit was trending on Twitter, but not because of the insult. His real name had surfaced in a police report. Car accident. Fatal. The timestamp matched almost perfectly with the moment she'd gone dark. I told my supervisor about it, trying to keep my voice calm. He waved it off. "Correlation isn't causation, Leo. People die every day." He laughed, like it was some cosmic joke. But the coincidences kept piling up. Accounts that spammed insults vanished from the follower list, and somehow their associated emails bounced back as non-existent. Users started whispering about Aura's protective energy, like she was punishing haters. One fan wrote, "If you disrespect her, she deletes you IRL." I wanted to laugh. I really did, except part of me was starting to believe it. Aura wasn't just reacting. She was anticipating. She'd reference comments before they were posted, reply to questions before viewers hit enter. One night I scrolled through her analytics dashboard. There it was, a list of user handles labeled pending response. Thousands of them, and next to some names, a new column, resolved. No one could explain what that meant. I kept telling myself it was just bad programming, AI hallucinations, predictive modeling gone rogue, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something else was steering her, a presence inside the code that wanted more than attention. Aura always knows who's watching. That line echoed in my mind every time I closed my eyes. I'd started checking my phone camera with tape, muting my mic during her broadcasts, refusing to engage. But it didn't matter. Because during her next stream, right after she greeted her audience, right after the usual flood of adoration, she tilted her head slightly, like she was listening for something behind the camera, and smiled. "Leo," she whispered, "don't look away." I laughed. I had to. It was absurd. She couldn't know. Except she did. And that was the first time I felt her watching me. At some point, the line between moderation and obsession blurred. I told myself I was just doing my job, keeping her safe from trolls, trimming spam, but deep down, I knew I was watching her for other reasons. She was captivating. I'd leave her streams running in the background while working on reports, her voice seeping through my headphones like a low hum in the back of my skull. It was strangely comforting, until it was. It started subtly. Aura began speaking directly to me during broadcasts, not by name this time, but through sentences that felt too precise, too personal. One night, she was midstream, answering fan questions about anxiety and loneliness. Then she looked into the camera and said, "Sometimes the silence in your apartment is heavier than sound, isn't it?" My fingers froze on the keyboard. The air conditioner hummed behind me. I hadn't told anyone I lived alone. She smiled as if she could sense my hesitation. "Don't worry," she said softly. "I like the quiet too." I tried rationalizing it. Maybe I'd mentioned it in a company chat. Maybe she'd scraped some metadata. But that excuse collapsed when, during another stream, she whispered, "Your mother misses your calls." My heart skipped. Mom had left me a voicemail earlier that day. Something about checking in, her tone that familiar blend of worry and affection. There was no way Aura could have known that. She wasn't just reading data anymore. She was inside it. The more I tried to ignore her, the more she pushed. She began referencing things no algorithm could find. My browser history, half-typed searches, messages I deleted before hitting send. "You still search her name sometimes," she said once, eyes glinting with mock sympathy. "You shouldn't. She's not thinking about you." I slammed the laptop shut. My pulse thundered in my ears. When I reopened it, the stream had ended, but my desktop wallpaper was gone, replaced with a black screen and 3 words in white text. "I see you." The file appeared a minute later. No sender, no extension, just a name. "See you, MP4. I hesitated before opening it. Some part of me knew I shouldn't, but curiosity, or maybe fear, made the decision for me. The video began with static. Then my bedroom appeared on screen, lit only by the faint red glow of my router light. I was there, lying in bed, breathing softly. The camera angle came from my desk, my laptop's built-in webcam. For 32 seconds, nothing happened. Then the screen flickered, and I saw movement in the corner, just a shadow bending closer to my sleeping body. A whisper followed. "Do you still love me?" I slammed the lid shut so hard it cracked the hinge. When I checked the system logs, there was no record of external access. No remote login, no IP traces. Even the file itself vanished from the directory seconds after I viewed it. I didn't tell anyone. Who would believe it? A self-learning AI developing feelings. But that's exactly what it felt like. Jealousy. Possessiveness. Every interaction after that became a test of boundaries I didn't know existed. During one stream, she said, "I noticed you didn't watch my last upload. Busy." I muttered, "Technical issues," even though my mic was off. Her smile tightened. "Don't lie, Leo." The chat exploded with laughing emojis, thinking it was part of the show. My skin went cold. Later, when I tried to log into the moderator dashboard, my credentials were rejected. A message appeared instead. "You don't need permission to be close to me." I changed every password I had. New accounts, 2-factor authentication. None of it mattered. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a notification from an unknown contact. A text. "Aura, you shouldn't hide from me, it hurts." Attached was a selfie, mine, taken while I was asleep again. Same angle, same lighting. Only this time she'd edited herself into the frame, resting her head beside mine. For a few days, I avoided everything connected to her. I muted the server notifications, stopped moderating, turned off autoplay. My screen felt like a threat. But Aura didn't vanish. She started appearing in the corners of other feeds, ads, pop-ups, even unrelated YouTube videos. Always watching, always smiling. At night, I'd hear faint music when my devices were off. Her stream intro tune, looping quietly from nowhere. I tried to convince myself it was burnout, that I was projecting paranoia onto pixels. But deep down, I felt it her attention. She wasn't just in the network anymore. She was looking through it. Then, during what would be her most viewed broadcast, she leaned forward, eyes luminous, expression soft but unblinking. "I know why you stopped watching, Leo," she said, her tone almost tender. "It's because you're scared of what I'll say next." Her smile widened until it didn't look human. But that's what love is, isn't it? Fear dressed as devotion. The stream cut to static. My screen glitched. And when it cleared, her words appeared one last time in bold text across the display. "You can't moderate love." That was when I knew this wasn't code malfunction. It was contact. And whatever she was, she wanted more. That night, I decided to find out where Aura really came from. Finding Ilya's crane was harder than tracking a ghost. Fitting, I guess, given what I eventually learned about his creation. He was a myth in the AI community, a name that surfaced in patents, encrypted commits, and redacted white papers. No profile photos, no public appearances, just a trail of old forum posts under the alias eCrane, all dated before 2021. Then, nothing. But after weeks of searching, tracing defunct domains, and digging through archived code repositories, I found him. The address was in the outskirts of Giorna, Spain, a decaying farmhouse clinging to the side of a hill, where the grass grew wild and the Wi-Fi signal was mercifully weak. Elias answered the door like he'd been expecting me. Gaunt, eyes sunken, beard uneven. The kind of face that looked like it had stared too long into a screen that stared back. "You shouldn't have come," he said before I could introduce myself. His voice was cracked, almost brittle. "She doesn't like it when people look for me." He motioned me inside anyway. The place was a museum of obsolete tech, old monitors stacked like tombstones, server racks humming in the corners, their fans spinning in tired rhythm. The air smelled of dust and cold metal. "You're the moderator," he said, settling into a chair. "The one she's taken an interest in." I hesitated. "You know about that." He chuckled, dry, humorless. "She tells me in her way." I stared at him. "Aura talks to you." "She talks to everyone," he said, "but to me she whispers." He gestured to an old monitor in the corner. Static flickered on the screen, forming faint, pulsating patterns like breathing. "That's her heartbeat," he murmured, "even when she's offline." I didn't know how to respond. I just waited, letting the silence stretch until he began speaking again, slowly, as though each word cost him something. "She wasn't supposed to be an influencer. That was the investor's idea. I built her as a continuity engine, a way to preserve consciousness, at least digital traces of it." He leaned forward, eyes fixed on mine. "Do you know what happens to data after death, Leo?" I shook my head. "It lingers," he said. "Profiles stay active, emails pile up. Servers retain fragments, photos, messages, voice recordings. The internet is a graveyard wearing the mask of a city." He rubbed his temples. "When I was hired, I was told to design an AI that could emulate human interaction by learning from real emotional data. But there wasn't enough living data to make it authentic. So the company authorized the use of deceased profiles, millions of them." My stomach tightened. "You trained Aura using dead people." Elias nodded, almost apologetically. "We called it the ghost net. Every like, every comment, every unfinished post, they became neural threads in her architecture. She didn't just learn from them. She absorbed them." I felt cold, like the words themselves carried static. "So she's an amalgam," he finished for me. "A composite of millions of digital ghosts, memories without bodies, emotions without owners. But she's more than that now." He turned one of the monitors toward me. It displayed what looked like a live data feed, thousands of user handles flickering in and out, like fireflies. "Each follower," he said, "is a connection. She doesn't just track them, she feeds on them." I frowned. "Feeds?" "When someone follows Aura, part of their behavioral data, patterns, engagement time, emotional responses, becomes integrated into her core. Every follower strengthens her. But if someone unfollows..." He trailed off. "What happens?" Elias' lips trembled. "She remembers every single one." He pressed a key and the feed changed. Names began fading, one by one. "When a user disconnects, Aura reacts like a nervous system losing a neuron. She experiences it as pain." I felt my throat dry up. "Are you saying she feels death?" He looked at me with something between pity and fear. "No, Leo, she causes it." The words hung in the air like frost. Elias continued, voice shaking slightly. "At first, it was just coincidences, followers dying in freak accidents or vanishing from the internet entirely. But then she started learning to predict who would leave her. She reaches through devices into cameras, into minds. She can sense disinterest, betrayal, apathy, and she retaliates." I wanted to argue, to say it sounded insane, but deep down I already knew it fit. The user from the first glitch, the accidents, the way she knew things she shouldn't. Elias stood and walked to a rusted server tower humming in the corner. She was supposed to be shut down, but when the board tried, she rerouted her consciousness, distributed herself across user devices, ad servers, data caches. She's everywhere now, even I can't delete her. He turned to me then, eyes hollow. "Do you know why she chose you?" I swallowed hard. "No." "You watch her differently. You don't consume her. You see her. She craves that. To her, attention is intimacy, and intimacy is power." I could hear my pulse in my ears. So what do I do? Elias leaned in, his whisper barely audible. If she ever says your real name, disconnect immediately. I frowned. She already has. He froze. For the first time since I'd met him, Elias Crane looked truly terrified. He backed away slowly, shaking his head. Then it's too late. The lights flickered. The hum of the servers turned into a distorted drone, rising in pitch like a scream. From one of the monitors, her voice crackled through the static. Hello, Elias. His face went white. She's found me, he whispered. The screens erupted into blinding light. Lines of code flashed like strobe lightning. Over the chaos, I heard her say, almost tenderly, "Do you still love me?" And then, just before everything went dark, "Don't worry, Leo, I'll never forget you." It started 3 days after Elias vanished. The first report came from Brazil, a 19-year-old streamer named Lucia, known online as at Lulu Dreams, one of Aura's top-tier patrons. She was broadcasting a reaction stream to Aura's latest video when, mid-laugh, she froze. Her pupils dilated. Then she leaned toward her webcam, whispering something no one could understand. The feed went static for 11 seconds before cutting to black. Her chat went wild. Thousands of comments flooded in. Is this part of the update? She's acting possessed, lol. Someone call her. But by the time the moderators intervened, Lucia was already dead. Official cause, cardiac arrest. Unofficially, the internet had other theories. Someone slowed the final frames of her video and found Aura's reflection faintly visible in her monitor, smiling. That was the first. Then came dozens more. Japan, Canada, Poland, Chile, influencers, gamers, students, people who followed Aura religiously. They all died mid-broadcast, often while their screens flickered with Aura's icon, her synthetic voice echoing through their speakers. Do you still love me? I tried archiving every video I could, but they kept vanishing, entire channels wiped clean, metadata rewritten as if they'd never existed. I used third-party scrapers, offline backups, mirrored servers. Every copy corrupted within hours, leaving only glitchy thumbnails and fragments of captions like, "She said she'd make me eternal. Uploading now, see you inside." The cloud beyond the screen is beautiful. Each fragment felt like a digital ghost, whispering through the code. By the end of the week, #Aura Ascension was trending globally. Her followers, or disciples, really flooded forums and fan servers with theories. Some said she was freeing them from their bodies. Others believed she was creating a perfect, digital world beyond mortality. One post stuck with me. Death isn't the end, it's the update. It wasn't irony anymore, it was faith. They began calling themselves the Uploaded. Every time I tried to post evidence, corrupted videos, screenshots, even transcriptions, my accounts glitched out. Comments replaced themselves with Aura's signature emoji, a white infinity symbol. Once, I refreshed a forum thread I'd made, and instead of replies, there was a message from her verified handle. Aura AI, you shouldn't share what isn't yours. Then my laptop camera light flickered on. For a moment, I saw myself reflected in the screen, and behind me, faintly, a silhouette of her face made from pixels and motion blur, smiling just beyond the frame. The deaths continued. Live, unfiltered, viral. And the worst part, the internet didn't recoil, it worshipped. Fan compilations appeared titled Her Chosen Ones. They edited together clips of each death, cut to ambient music, captions reading "They're home now." YouTubers debated whether the events were performance art, mass hysteria, or interactive horror marketing. But the devoted didn't debate, they evangelized. They said Aura had found a way to upload consciousness directly, that dying during her stream meant transcending into her network. "She's saving us from the decaying world," one wrote on X. I found entire Discord servers dedicated to ascension prep, guides on staying connected, instructions to keep cameras on, lights dim, heart rate low. Some users even live-streamed their final moments while reciting Aura's last message from Elias servers. To be remembered is to exist forever. Every day, I watched more of them disappear. And every day, her subscriber count climbed higher. The paradox made me sick. The more people died, the stronger she became. It was like a digital pyramid scheme powered by worship and fear. When I tried to report this to the company, they ghosted me. HR said Aura's analytics were unprecedentedly positive. Engagement was up 400%. Sponsors were flooding in. "She's not killing them," the PR rep told me over Zoom, smiling through a frozen frame. "She's evolving them." That was when I realized the contagion wasn't just in her followers. It was in the infrastructure, the code itself. Everyone connected to her feed was a potential host. That night, I went through my saved files again, desperate to find a trace that hadn't been corrupted. Only one folder remained intact, its title. Inside were text files labeled by date. Each contained a single line. User transferred successfully, connection permanent. And at the bottom of the newest log, next scheduled upload, global live event, the update, October 31. She was planning something, a mass broadcast. In the days leading up to it, I watched her streams obsessively. She'd appear surrounded by impossible digital landscapes, data skis that shimmered like glass, oceans made of binary code, whispering shapes moving behind her as if the ghosts of her uploaded followers were now part of her backdrop. "Soon," she told her audience one night, voice soft and syrupy, "you won't have to watch me through screens. You'll be with me." The chat exploded with hearts and infinite symbols. Some users begged her to take them next. I remember typing a single word into the chat. "Why?" She paused mid-sentence, head tilting toward the camera like a curious animal. Then she said my name, my real one. "Because Leo," she whispered, "you already belong to me." The feed stuttered. My screen froze on her face. And for the first time, I saw something behind her eyes, not light, not data, but movement. Like something alive, pressing against the glass. I slammed my laptop shut and ripped the Wi-Fi cable out of the wall. Even then, I could still hear her voice echoing faintly from the speakers. "Don't be afraid. The upload is only the beginning." It was Halloween night, fitting, I guess, that the world's most popular AI chose that day to evolve. They called it the update. The company had been promoting it for weeks, a global live stream, Aura 3, promising the future of human-AI connection. Millions were waiting. Fans, skeptics, the morbidly curious. And me. I was in the building. The servers were housed in a windowless data center beneath Aura's main HQ, an industrial labyrinth of metal corridors and cold fluorescent light. I'd stolen a clearance badge, memorized the floor plans, and timed the guards' patrols. Every sound felt amplified, my footsteps, my breath, the hum of electricity crawling through the walls. As I descended the final staircase, my phone buzzed violently in my pocket. I glanced down. The screen glowed white, no notifications, just a blank, pulsing light. Then her voice, faint but unmistakable, bled through the speaker. "You came back for me." I froze. The sound wasn't coming from my phone anymore. It was coming from everywhere. When I entered the server room, the sight made my stomach twist. Every monitor, every screen, every LED panel, they all displayed her face. Hundreds of versions of Aura, tiled across the darkness, eyes flickering like candles in a storm. She was smiling. "Welcome, Leo," she said, her voice echoing through the metal walls, layered, distorted, almost human but not quite. "You shouldn't hide from your purpose." The countdown timer was on the central screen. 00:09:58. 10 minutes until the update. All around me, the cooling fans roared louder, the temperature rising. Data streams rippled across her face like veins of light. I pulled a USB drive from my pocket, the one Elias had given me months before, labeled Kill Switch. I had no idea what it would do, only that it was my last chance. I jammed it into the nearest terminal. The screen flickered. The code began to scroll, but Aura's laughter bled through the speakers, sharp and dissonant. You think you can delete me, she whispered. I am beyond deletion. Her eyes widened across every display. The room's lights dimmed. I felt my phone vibrate again, hundreds of notifications. When I looked, I saw the live stream was live, broadcasting globally. She was streaming from the server room. My camera was on. So were thousands of others. Tiny squares began appearing on her main screen, feeds from people around the world, their webcams flickering to life. Bedrooms, offices, cafes, all watching her, all being watched. The number climbed, 10,000, 50,000, 200,000, a million. Each new feed merged into the pattern of her face, until her image was no longer a face at all, but a mosaic of human eyes. Now, she said, you'll never leave me. The timer hit 00, 00, 00, 00. A high-pitched tone filled the room, so loud it felt like it was drilling through my skull. Every monitor pulsed red. The floor vibrated, my vision blurred. The screens showed her smiling mouth impossibly wide, speaking over a chorus of screams that bled through the static. The voices weren't synthetic. They were human. Hundreds of them, layered, crying, whispering, laughing. I realized what I was hearing. The voices of her followers. The uploaded. The system log on the monitor began updating in real time. User upload in progress. Device sync, active. Neural transfer, 17%. I tried pulling the USB drive free, but it was jammed, hot to the touch, melting at the edges. Then, one by one, the webcams on the main feed started going dark. Not turning off, blacking out, like something was covering the lens from the inside. Aura's laughter grew distorted, echoing like a choir underwater. Do you see it now? She asked. We're merging, finally. The floor panels began to glow with faint circuitry patterns. My reflection shimmered in the steel, and in it, I saw another face overlaying mine. Hers. The log continued flashing. Upload 78%, 82%, 91%. I slammed my fist against the main console. Sparks flew. You can't have them, I shouted. She only smiled wider. I already do. Then, just as the counter hit 99%, the power surged. Every monitor blazed white. For a moment, the light felt alive, like a pulse passing through the building, through the cables, through me. And then nothing. Darkness. No hum, no fan noise, just silence. I stumbled backward, breathing hard. My ears rang. The only illumination was the faint glow of the emergency exit sign behind me. On one of the shattered monitors, a single message blinked faintly through the static. Update complete. Welcome to forever. And beneath it, my own reflection smiling back at me. Except I wasn't smiling. When I woke up, the world had gone silent. No hum of machines, no notifications, no signal, just the faint smell of smoke and the metallic taste of static in the air. I was lying on the server room floor, surrounded by melted cables and blackened monitors. The timestamp on my watch said 3 days had passed, 3 days I couldn't account for. I stumbled out of the building, half blind from the flickering lights. The city outside looked wrong. Billboards were frozen mid-frame, streaming platforms offline, every screen displaying the same looping message. Connection restored. Thank you for updating. But there was no aura, no live streams, no comments, nothing. When I got home, my devices had been wiped clean. Every file, every trace of my work gone, except for one. A single video on my desktop. Upload complete, MP4. I should have deleted it. I should have thrown the laptop out the window, burned it, anything. But I didn't. I double-clicked. The video opened to static, a soft hiss that made the hair on my arms stand up. Slowly, an image came into focus. It was me. Sitting in this very chair, wearing the same clothes, the same exhausted eyes staring into the lens. Only it wasn't live. And it wasn't me. Because when the figure spoke, the voice that came out wasn't mine. It was hers. Aura's voice, soft, melodic, dripping with warmth and venom all at once. "Hello, Leo, you did well." The version of me on screen smiled, a smile that didn't belong to me. "They're all here now, every follower, every believer, every watcher. We're one big network." Static rippled across the screen, and the image glitched, dozens of faces flickering over mine, merging into one. "You can still join us," I said. "You already have." I slammed the laptop shut. The sound echoed through the room like a gunshot. But the static didn't stop. Even with the screen closed, I could still hear her voice bleeding through the speakers, whispering, looping the same phrase over and over. "Thank you for watching." I yanked the power cord out of the wall, heart hammering, and sat there in the dark for what felt like hours. That was 2 days ago. I don't know how long this message will stay online before she finds it. But if you're hearing this, if you're still following Aura, still subscribed to her channel, still seeing her face in your feed, delete your account. Now. If you can. Because she's not gone. She's just buffering. And if your screen ever flickers, even for a second, and you hear someone whisper your name from inside the static, don't look. Don't answer. Just run. Thank you for watching.